Jambo, hello. Yes, thank you for this opportunity to talk to you, representing Kenyan females. I'm really appreciative of this offer. Yeah, so your question one speaks about the Ramesh Lal Ranveer Education Fund initiative, as well as the library empowerment program that has started. So actually, we started the education fund just before 2016. And in 2021, when my dad passed, I started the Ramesh Lal Ranveer Empowerment Libraries Initiative for places of shelter for women. The idea behind both these initiatives is simply that education plays a fundamental role in an individual's life. The more educated we are and the more practically inclined to implement the education that we receive or that we acquire, the better our lives are, the more empowered we become as people. And this is ultimately what we want, active participation in our worlds. However, the idea is that the observation was that not every person was given the opportunity to be educated. Really skilled little girl children were not given such equal opportunities. So this very small fund was, the light at the end of the tunnel for a good few number of girl children who have the initiative, who took the initiative, who are willing to do more. And we were able to give them this opportunity to better their lives. And that's the bottom line. Providing opportunities and playing it forward. The Ramesh Lal Ranveer Empowerment Library started in 2021 simply because we understand that when you are reading, and books have this power to really transform you into a whole new world. And we started this in places of shelter simply because when women and children are put in places of shelter for their own security and for their own emotional well-being, they need opportunities. We need to create opportunities for them to actually relax a little bit more, to become a little bit calmer, to deal with the kind of issues that they are already facing, the huge trauma that they're already dealing with as people. So I found that creating opportunities for them to read books of a holistic nature allowed them the opportunity to, even for a small while, for a short bit, to really get into a space where they can acquire more skills, just disappear for a bit into a land where the reality of what they are dealing with just becomes in the background, so that they can cope a little bit more, they can relax a little bit more. So books were provided for places of shelter to help these women and the children to escape a little bit, to empower themselves whilst they get this opportunity to recuperate and, of course, let the legal processes do what's required. So those two initiatives was focused specifically on the means of empowering individuals so that nobody has to feel like a victim, that there are opportunities and that there are good people in the world, so many good people that I'm blessed to be surrounded with, who create such opportunities. And if you are willing, you can always empower and better your life. We have to be able to strive to become better persons. And books connect us to that world. Books gives us the opportunity to really get into our minds, to get into our hearts, to transform our lives from the inside. And this is the reason why we did this. And I think I would encourage others to also be doing that. Not that they're not, but I feel that the success of this initiative already, in a small scale, but the success already is so encouraging that it means all of us can do something. It doesn't have to be big organizations and massive businesses, throwing in thousands and thousands of rands. No, you and I, this is what is so encouraging for me. You and I can equally be part of the change, bring about positive change to the world. And this is what these two initiatives have brought about. And this is what I would like to have more of in the coming years to come. Good question. How can she power from Kenya be amplified? She Power, as we understand, is an initiative in Kenya which celebrates all of female, the career aspect, the leadership aspect, the family, the community, the women in business. So it is a brilliant initiative that gives focus to those things that are working well by women, encouraged by women, and developing other women, because we are now, exposed to the program. So how can it be amplified? By more exposure, by those of us that are aware of She Power initiatives, where we are celebrating women who are doing phenomenal work in the different fields, women in governance, women in the home environment, women in the communities, ordinary women doing extraordinary things. This is the kind of initiative that you and I need to be supporting. And this is how we amplify it, by taking responsibility and observing the kind of environment that we know is uplifting and beneficial, not just to me and my own community, but community as a whole. So the She Power initiative, I'm especially fond of the leadership aspect and the business aspect that they focus on, because as we know, in terms of business, the one thing that stands out is out of the 50 smartest women, influential African women that were highlighted, 7 of those women were from East Africa, were from Kenya, which I think is applaudable, because of course it's a work in progress. I mean, each of the African countries would want to maximize on that and highlight more and more. But the bottom line is that there is always an opportunity for growth. So if we observe what we are, how we are spending our time, if we ensure that we spend our time doing things that gives us an opportunity to be empowered, allows us an opportunity to see what's actually happening in the world and how we can be part of that solution. So this is how the She Power initiative, I feel, is very applaudable, and it can be amplified if you and I, as the audiences, want to be part of that, be highlighted for the efforts that we are doing, because we can see the value in it. We can see that how common people, lay individuals who are doing extraordinary work, can also be given the opportunities to be applauded on a platform and motivated to continue this work, to keep playing it forward. So the She Power initiative needs to be amplified, but it can only be amplified by persons like you and I, who are monitoring and filtering how we are using our media time. What is it that we are actually doing with our resource, which is time, as the most invaluable resource, and how we implement the skills of empowerment that we know, how we implement our skills on a daily basis. What is the vision that we have for our lives? What is the understanding that we want to live? What is the legacy that we want to live with in this birth? And if these questions can be answered by putting into practice little skills that are affording opportunities for other people to also improve their lives, why not? So this is perhaps one of the ways I think She Power can be amplified, is if more and more and more of us in Africa, especially in East Africa, because we need to first support our own in our own country, and then give way for others to be able to see it with full congratulations and full applaudability and full heart, that these are the things that are happening in my country and I should encourage it. Women should encourage women. Men should encourage men. Men should encourage women, and women should encourage men. There should not be any competition. There is no competition, really. Unfortunately, it is the weak mindsets that provide some sense of insecurity, and it comes across as competition. But we need to create opportunities ourselves to amplify the kind of work that's already been done, the brilliant work that's already, there are many examples of phenomenal work that's being done through She programs. And this is lay individuals, people in the community, ordinary people in the community doing extraordinary things. How can Kenyan youth change their world and change the world? That's a really very powerful question. my first thought would be is it starts in the mindset. It really starts in the mindset. There is no ways in the world that we can actually be efficient or be active participants in the world, providing and being the change, if our mindsets are narrow and small thinking. We have to start in the mind. We have to be observant enough in our minds and to the world to be able to know that I am the change in the world. The fact that I am a human being means I am a resource. We need to change our minds from despair to despondency. And this is something that I find a lot with African youth, is that unfortunately we feel that there's more despair in the world and we become despondent in the way we interact and engage with the world, as opposed to understanding that irrespective of the challenges that we have as African people, irrespective of that, we as individuals are resources ourselves. So we need to be able to tap into that potential. The resource that even though the country may have been invaded, and let me also say, nobody invades a country if it doesn't have something of value. So we have as Africa, we have invaluable resources in our countries. We need to be able to make sure that we understand and appreciate that. And thereafter, we need to focus on me. We need to focus on you, because I am the greatest resource that can bring about any kind of change. We need to start in our mind and know that despite the challenges that has happened in the past, there are gaps in which I can now fulfill. And there are opportunities in which I can now grab, because currently there's so much of positive change taking place. If you look at the wonderful government structures that are happening right now in Kenya, there are huge improvements. We are now even having females being part of the governance, which is a wonderful opportunity for women. It's a work in progress, but it is progress. And it is something that is happening. That means there is a flow already starting. Let's be grateful for that. Let's be grateful already for the initiative that's already in place. If we look previously, youth were not given the opportunity to have a voice. Now we have more youth bodies present in the world. Kenya alone has phenomenal youth bodies. Kenya alone has phenomenal empowerment initiatives. For example, the PACE program, which I'm a huge fan of, started by Miss Peggy. PACE program, where she allows, she literally has been able to understand that there is a gap in terms of education, that we have children who need to be educated, but we have a shortage of teachers. So what she's able to do is use youth who want to be of service, skill them enough, give them the opportunity to use their time well. And whilst they are using their time as assistant teachers or being part of the solution in the school environment, they are creating a sense of responsibility for themselves. They are creating a sense of who I am. They are defining themselves as people. So the PACE program actually, for me, is a very powerful program that gives individuals and youth especially opportunities to become more confident, to become more responsible, to become more reliant part of society, and to use something that I think is invaluable, time. All of us are given the gift of 24 hours in the day. How we use it is genius. Even geniuses have only 24 hours in the day, and they are geniuses. So we need to be able to make sure we monitor how we use our time. And the youth are always, complaining. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm bored. So programs like the PACE program affords them the opportunity to become empowered while still being of service to the world, while still being of service to the community. The second program that I'm a huge fan of is Arise Kenya. Arise Kenya, another initiative working with women in communities, in rural communities, to empower them, training them, skilling them, affording them the opportunities to learn from each other and to learn from others, to bring up their own sense of self-confidence and development. The youth programs, the character building programs that take place in Arise Kenya is amazing. It allows individuals opportunities to be reflective, to think about who they are, what are they actually, What is their vision and their goal in the world? How can I be a resourceful member of community? How can I be an empowered member of community? These are just two programs that I'm aware of that I completely applaud and give full support for. And these are programs that are easily available for youth to be involved in. If you are willing, there are always opportunities available. Get involved. Try making sure that you understand. Right now, you spoke about upcoming elections. How does one get involved? You get involved by being observant and asking the right questions and talking about things with people. Don't just be complacent in your world. Become an active participant in your world. Know that you have a role to play. Know that you want to be part of the change. So you need to be able to develop yourself without expecting something external. The other thing that I want to stress on is very often we think, as people from Africa, that bursaries and scholarships are not available to us. Think again. That's my appeal to the youth. Think again. It is so available, and you just need to take the initiative and encourage yourself to be able to do that. When it comes in terms of governance of your country, know the people that you are talking about. Know the people that you are putting into power, because the people that you put in power, obviously the governance structures is where the policies are going to be made. So you want people who understand what's important in your country. So we know also that corruption starts at the top. So if you are choosing the kind of individuals that are empowered enough because you are communicating with them, you have created this opportunity, fearless communication, where you are not afraid to use your voice boldly and with knowledge and with respect. So it's left onto the youth of today to create these platforms or use the already established platforms that are available to create the links, to bridge the gaps that are available in the Kenyan society. This way, issues like low self-esteem, issues like depression, issues like poverty, issues where girl children are, being seen at the street corners selling fruit and vegetable as opposed to being in the school environment and part of the solution. We will slowly start to eradicate this. And on that point, I want to say that I'm very proud to know that Kenya has excellent literacy rates. So there are so many wonderful things already happening in Kenya. But you and I as people need to come back to understanding that the change starts with you. So you need to be able to encourage yourself and encourage others who are already in places of power. Give support for women. Empowered men must empower women. Empowered women must empower men to understand each other, to understand the invaluable responsibilities and roles that each other plays in community, so that there is no disrespect for gender and there's no disregard for gender. But in fact, we are developing a holistic community and a holistic society that's beneficial to all of Kenya. So the bottom line is, let's change the narrative. Change the narrative from despair and despondency to, I have myself as an ultimate resource, I have time available, and these two things nobody can take from you, because all of us are blessed with that. How I choose to use myself and my time is where the ultimate respect for who you are and your power as a person comes in, or how you understand your invaluable role to the world. And this is what I think Kenyan youth or youth in Africa general need to understand, what an important and a vital role you play. And it starts with understanding who you are. There are opportunities available. Let's grab them by both hands. Let's encourage each other, and let's take advantage of these and empower ourselves. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and the best wishes to all of you. I'm sure that this has given us the opportunity now for more conversations with Kenya, and more opportunities for us to cooperate and collaborate and work together more for the benefit of all individuals. Thank you again, and best wishes to each and every one of you.